businesses need to learn to see criticism as a means to getting better. Dealing with people who would never leave a compliment for a job well done is always very hectic and annoying. Yet the same people would latch on to any opportunity to show how displeased they are with services that, in their perspective, fall short of the standard. These are the people Baer calls the haters. They are customers who bring negative feedback about the products and services of a company. A traditional customer care representative would want to take the easier route of ignoring these extreme cases of critique. Unfortunately, that would be throwing away all the salt to not oversalt the meal. The more complaints a brand gets from its customers, the more information it has to outflank its competitors. The initial goal of every business is customer satisfaction. Profit-making should be secondary. In that case, businesses must learn to see customers' complaints as added insights for improvement and not burdens to be trashed. In addition, they must realize that the level of competition in the 21st century market is such as has never been in all history. One way to stand out from other rivals is to step up your customer service experience. Make your users your top priority. Take criticisms and complaints from customers as insights you need to grow your brand and stand out in the market. Appreciate your haters who bring negative observations and complaints about your brand. Although it is not easy to like haters, that wouldn't be the case if businesses realize that complaints are catalysts that stimulate improvement. Some benefits of criticism are: it brings the perspective of the world to the company's desk. It helps businesses see themselves from the lenses of the public. It allows firms to make necessary amends to serve the public better. In this summary, you'll find clear-cut strategies for having a better perspective and making adequate use of criticisms. For the majority of businesses, the only reason we can get by with our current customer service approach is because our competitors are equally shabby, or worse. Creating a good consumer experience leads to customer retention. Often, businesses see all customers' complaints as negative, which is wrong. The result is that they tend to lose all the value of those criticisms. Failure to acknowledge the stream of advantages afforded by grievances leads to the loss of the same benefits. Every review received from customers, whether positive or negative, reveals how society perceives the company. This creates an opportunity for the business to correct these perspectives and regain its integrity in the eyes of the public. Knowing what third parties think your organization is or is not doing right helps you improve your organization for the better. A well-handled complaint can convert an extremely unhappy customer into a devoted patron. The cost of retaining customers is harder than getting new ones. Consumers are lost quickly when their complaints are ignored or not adequately attended to. It can be handled by building a good customer service interface, acknowledging and accepting mistakes, listening to and settling unhappy complainants, making adjustments where necessary. When clients are adequately attended to and satisfied, it saves a lot of funds and resources needed for marketing. It turns former unhappy customers into brand ambassadors. Most would even advocate for a business they like. The same goes with brands with whom they are disappointed. This speaks volumes of the need to create a good customer experience, especially for critiques. Investing in customer service is beyond making a good impression of the company for its users. It is also a customer retention strategy for your company. 99 answering complaints increases customer advocacy across all customer service channels. Did you know? According to a 2020 survey reported in the Wall Street Journal, 43% of customers used email, live chat, and social media to register their complaints about products or services. Businesses can enhance productivity by coming up with creative ways to solve customers' complaints. Customers are more likely to complain when they are not satisfied than they would write positive comments when they appreciate everything. There are two types of haters. On-stage haters would rather grab a mic, step on the stage, and make their grievances known right in front of the world. Offstage haters prefer sneaking in on you at night to lay their complaints in private. Most companies would prefer receiving complaints offstage rather than in public spaces. However, the fact remains that people would do their critiquing via various platforms for various reasons, hence the need for businesses to embrace both. In today's world, social media is a great tool for companies to rate their customers' experience and service. Younger people tend to take advantage of social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and Yelp to voice their complaints. In contrast, older people would rather compose an email detailing their issues or call the customer care unit where there is one available. Generally, when a user places a call or sits to compose an email to lay a complaint, they obviously want a response in return. For example, if users call the customer care unit of the network provider to complain that their recent call rates are exorbitant, they are demanding an immediate response. However, most grievances made on social media platforms and other review sites are cases of customers conveying their dissatisfaction without expecting a response. The callers need an explanation for why this is happening, so it is logical that the response comes in immediately. However, if another user goes on social media to update a status that reads, "ABC network is unreliable," and tags them along, they are calling for attention. Or maybe they try venting out their dissatisfaction with their services, not necessarily demanding or expecting a response or explanation. Whether it's a public or private complaint, a prompt reply that defies the expectation of customers would always leave them in awe. When responding on stage to customers, firms should speak in a way that represents their vision. When consumers raise concerns about products or brands, businesses must be aware that these users are speaking up for others who would never speak. If clients decide to lay their complaints in public and not through your customer service or helpline, they make the world judge between them and you. Silence at this point creates a certain perspective in the mind of your prospective audience, which destroys your brand's identity. Publicly responding to grievances is a business strategy that can save businesses a portion of the finance needed for advertising if appropriately handled. A public platform is an opportunity for brands to reach more than just their intended customers alone. When responding to complaints in a public space, companies stand to gain two things: an opportunity to retain the complaining customer, a chance to impress and win over other prospective customers. A rash response or totally ignoring complaints can scare away potential customers. When the expectations of most customers are not met, they walk away without even complaining. More often than not, the only way the patronage of this set of people is retained is when they come across a response given to another customer, which may be all the clarification they needed. Therefore, a response to a complaint in a public space should not be tailored to fit only the complainant. It must be smartly designed to soothe every public member who would ever come across that response. For instance, a customer who complained about bad service may be given a discount or store credit for their next purchase, renewing their faith in the company and preventing churn. When you address on-stage complaints or even acknowledge positive or neutral feedback, you have a chance to dramatically boost customer advocacy. More organizations will provide excellent service when they understand the obstacles in their way. Most companies have never used the hug your haters approach, answering every complaint in every channel, every time when relating to their customers. This is because of the following reasons. Too many channels. The emergence of the internet has provided customers with more platforms to give feedback, which has made comparisons between businesses possible and more common for customers and potential customers. But many companies are presented with the inability to keep up with the increasing demand for response across all platforms from customers and failing to engage clients online and offline and in good time causes a decline in business growth. So, companies must learn how to deal with their clients in whatever way they choose to interact with the organization while keeping up with the competition. Embracing customer complaints and interacting with them on every platform is the secret to creating a great customer experience. Number, too much feedback. Most businesses are not ready to embrace the volume of daily feedback. On stage, channels have led to companies receiving too many customer complaints, which can be overwhelming. One way to deal with this is to ask your customers for help. You can also develop a strategy where product users can assist one another with their complaints. No customer experience culture. Another reason for non-responsiveness to customer interaction is the lack of hospitality culture. The cost of acquiring customers most times is less than the cost of retaining them. Hence, many companies would rather focus on attracting clients than keeping them, as it would take extra effort to retain them. Several times, to meet the specific needs of a customer, the company must make the extra effort that would often take them out of their comfort zone. For instance, JetBlue Airlines had a passenger who tweeted before her flight about looking forward to getting pop chips, one of the free snacks served on the flights. But unfortunately, the plane was out of pop chips on this particular day, and the passenger used the in-air Wi-Fi connection to tweet about her disappointment. So JetBlue Airlines packaged up a box of pop chips with a little note and mailed it to her home. A few days later, she sent a tweet about the package with a photo. Much commitment is required to provide excellent customer service, but it is a great necessity if you want your company to grow. When responding to complaints, ensure you do it professionally so that you do not lose the customer users. Complain when they are not satisfied with the services and performance of a company. So, adequately satisfying their concerns should become paramount when top-notch customer experience is the company's primary goal. These are some tips to do this. Ensure you're reachable. Set up a system that would make it easy for customers to drop their concerns and expect a response from you. These could be in the form of helplines, email addresses, or a website. Have good customer care representatives. Find people skilled at handling customer service that can put both your user and your brand before anything else. Identify complaints. Your company cannot respond to a complaint they have not recognized because an adequate response is a sequel to identifying the complaint. Complaints are easier to identify made in private, off stage, because they will pop up on the systems you created to handle them. Attend the complaints professionally. After identifying them, immediately attend to them in a businesslike manner. Speak with the customer respectfully. Identifying on-stage grievances is a big deal. Finding all the complaints made in a public space is a rather hectic task, as it's almost impossible to track all feedback from customers in this space. Customer care personnel must engage in deliberate searches on all public outlets and review sites. The primary focus can be platforms where your company is more likely to get feedback depending on the kind of product you sell or your customer base. Businesses could also consider adopting software that efficiently tracks all posts and comments where a company is mentioned or tagged. In resolving an issue with a consumer, you should pacify them, fix the problem, and not aim to win an argument. A mere mistake most businesses make is to reply privately to public concerns. This may have won over the complainant, but also lost many other onlookers. It is important to know that some replies are best made privately for security reasons, like exchanging vital information such as account details. In such cases, a public response must be established before switching to a private channel. Unlike in the 19th and 20th centuries, when customer complaints were few and very strategic, they have now tripled or even quadrupled, thanks to the advent of multiple social media platforms. This boom in complaints allows competitors to draw the line and outsmart their rivals. Although businesses see this as a challenge, it's more advantageous. Complainants should not be seen as people trying to discredit your brand just for the sake of having a valid strategy. Instead, see your haters as people observing and bringing feedback on how you can improve your products and stand out from your competitors. Keep your eyes on the positive outcomes you can create with that single feedback. With one negative or positive piece of feedback, you can learn. Use feedback to see where you are doing well and areas where you need to improve from a different perspective. Retain. Customers complain when they are dissatisfied, but you can use their complaints as an opportunity to retain or win them back. Market. Recognize that each complaint and response given on social media or review sites is not just limited to the company and the complainant, but to the general public. Ensure you see those kinds of complaints as a marketing strategy where you can tailor your response towards retaining the customer complaining, but to win over new customers. When customers bring in their complaints and feedback, they expect to meet with the actual personalities behind the brand. If this person replies to them shabbily or ignores them, this paints an ugly picture of the company. However, if the customer service attends to customers' complaints with respect and courtesy, this can retain the clients. Try this. When you receive a complaint from a customer, try to respond within 24 hours and in public if the complaint was made publicly. Reply as soon as possible so they know you're listening, have heard their plight, and are already on it. Swing into action immediately and check back to ensure they were satisfied with your response to the situation. Thank you for listening. This audiobook, don't forget to subscribe and like.